In this video, I'm going to show you how to use sample packs to put together a tune like this.
Listen, if you ain't got decks, if you ain't got turntables, you better go and buy some. Right?
What's happening, people? I'm DJ Graish, and in today's video we're diving deep into sample packs. The pack that I'm going to be using to demonstrate this is the Calpyso pack from Ghost Syndicate. This pack contains bass and breaks, instruments and sound effects, and everything you'll need to put together a jungle track in Ableton Live. Let's get started. The first technique I want to show you is how to chop up a sample to a MIDI track so that you can play all the different slices on the drum rack. So I'm going to use drums 14, just drag that in, and I'll just turn it down a little bit and let's take a listen to the sample. Now you might notice that it's sounding ridiculously fast, and the reason is because up here I've set the project tempo to 170 and Ableton Live has taken a guess of the BPM and unfortunately it's got it wrong and said it's 85. So what we need to do is times that by 2, and there is actually a little button here where you can double the original tempo by clicking that. So now it says 170, and if we play it, you'll notice that it is the correct tempo for the project. And if you want to double check that, you can also turn on the metronome and have a listen. Hear that? What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click halfway through it and press Command and E and get rid of the second half. And then with this first half, which is a 1-bar loop now, I'm just going to press Command and J, and that consolidates it. Now the reason I'm doing that is because when I chop this up, we don't really need it to be double the length because the second half was basically the same as the first half. So we're going to just chop up this 1-bar loop, and the way how you do that is by right clicking and going to slice to a new MIDI track. Just press OK, and what that's done is it's created a new MIDI track with a drum rack on it, and in the drum rack you've got slices 1 to 8. Now, I don't need this original break, so I'm just going to click the audio track and press delete. So what you can do now is double click into it and rearrange the slices, and to do that all you have to do is click each one and then use your up and down arrows to move it to slice 3, slice 4, etc. Another thing you can do is just delete this MIDI clip and then create a new one which is longer. For example, you might want to make a 4-bar loop, so all you do is highlight 4 bars like that, and then just press Shift, Command and M, and it creates a new MIDI clip. To put your slices in, you do want the grid to be on 1/8. So all you have to do is right click and then go 1/8 like that. And now you can just double click to create a block. And then my technique is this. Basically just press Command and D to duplicate it, and then use your up and down arrows of your keyboard to put it where you want it. And you can quickly slice up breaks and rearrange them in this way. You know, and you can just keep pressing Command and D and keep pressing up and down and putting the slices where you want them. And I'll just put the loop marker around this. So to do that, you just click the clip and press Command and L, and now the loop marker is around that clip, and it'll just keep looping these 4 bars over and over again. So now that we've got that break all chopped up, I'd like to add a kick to just sort of reinforce the low end of the break. So let's go back into the Calpyso sample pack and choose a kick. So I'm just looking for a basic kick, so I'm going to choose kick 17. And all I'm going to do is just drag that in, and you'll notice that it creates an audio track automatically to put it on. Now what I want to do is listen to the break again and listen out where the kicks are. Alright, so in the first bar there's only one kick. Now I'm going to hold down Alt and just drag that over. Let's have a listen to some of these top loops and see if any of them fit in with these drums. If you feel like the preview is too quiet, then down here in the bottom right, you're going to see the monitoring volume, and you can also see it in the session view over here. It's this little headphones one here. So you can just turn that up a bit. Let's play the drums and audition some top loops along with them. I think top 04 is pretty nice, so I'm just going to drag that one in. I like top 8 as well, so I'm just going to drag that one in. And what I was thinking of doing with these two top loops is panning them left and right. So to pan stuff, if you go to your mixer, you have these controls here, which by default it's pointing straight up, and that's centered, right? And you can actually see down at the bottom, it says track panning, and you can decide to move it over to the left, and you see how it says 29L. You can go as far as 50, by the way. But I'm going to put it on 29L and 29R. And let's have a listen to these two top loops now that they're panned left and right. Alright, I'm just going to grab an EQ. So if we go to Audio Effects, grab the EQ, and I'm just going to put that onto those top loops. So I've just sort of rolled off everything below 1K there, and I'm just going to copy that across to the other one by holding down Alt and dragging it over. So now that EQ is taking out the low and the lower mids of both of these top loops. Now let's hear all the drums together. So what that's doing is it's just adding a nice bit of stereo width to the drums. That one's really nice. I'm going to go with break 05, so I'll just drag that there. And I guess I'm going to need to turn it down as well. Let's have a listen. Alright, so let's do a little bit of organisation before I carry on. So I'm just going to rename these. So to rename stuff, all you have to do is click the first track and press Command and R, and that allows you to rename it. And then once you've done the first one, you can just press Tab, and it takes you down to the next one, and then Tab. Just keep pressing Tab and it'll take you down through them. So now that we've got those all labelled nicely, I'm just going to click the first one and hold down Shift, click the last one, and press Command and G to group it all together. And I'm just going to call this drums. Now that you know how to slice up a sample to a new MIDI track and also how to use samples on individual audio tracks, the third way that I want to show you is to put samples into a simpler and then play it at all different pitches using a MIDI keyboard. So let's go into Instruments and just grab the simpler and drag it in, and that's going to create a new MIDI track with the simpler on it. Then we're going to go back to our Calpyso sample pack and let's have a listen to some of these bass one-shots. Absolutely amazing. Like the first one straight away is just got that classic jungle sound. So G-sharp synth bass 1 is essentially like an 808 sound, although it's kind of a saturated 808 sound, which is absolutely perfect for jungle. So I've dragged that into the simpler, and that will now allow me to play this at all different pitches using a MIDI keyboard. Or if you don't have a MIDI keyboard, you can actually just use your computer keyboard. So all you need to do is just click this little piano icon in the top right of Ableton Live. And now if you press the middle row of your keyboard, which is the A, S, D, F, etc., you'll hear this. So you'll be able to just play this bass at all different pitches and create a bass line. So I'll just highlight a section and press Shift, Command and M, and now I'm able to just draw in the notes using this piano roll. So what you can do is press the button where you think your bass line should start. So I'm thinking if I press the H button, and it's actually playing it as A, all right? So double click and it'll create a note. And then I kind of want to go dum dum. And you remember that first bass sound, which I was saying is just like typical jungle? This one. I'm just going to throw that in. Alright, so it's a bit early. Now, before we go any further, I just want to show you a tool called a transient shaper. I don't know if you've ever heard of these before, but there is a company called Kilohertz, and I want to big up Kilohertz because they've given away a free toolkit for you to use. I only downloaded one of them, which was the transient shaper, but I want to show you what this does to the drums. So if we just grab the KHS transient shaper and put that onto the drums channel, and then let's open this up, and it looks like this. So it's a very simple plugin. You've just got attack, pump, and sustain. But you're able to change the drums and make them tighter and less messy sounding with this. So let's just solo the drums a sec. Now listen what happens when I turn down sustain. And I'll turn up attack a little bit. And then I'm just going to turn up pump a little bit as well. Now let's hear the drums with and without the transient shaper. So without, with. So it's just shortening the sustain of each hit, which actually, when you've got this kind of chaotic drum pattern going on, it really helps it out. I'm also just going to grab the glue compressor and put that on there, and then just turn down the threshold until I see the needle start moving. And let's put this on a really quick attack and also a quick release. Now that we've got a bit of a drums and bass loop going on, I'm going to go back into the Calpyso sample pack and have a listen to some of these synth one-shots. I want to show you a technique of how you can put these samples directly into a simpler really quickly. All you have to do is press Shift, Command and T, which will create a new MIDI track, and then just double click the sample. As you can see, now that has put the sample into the simpler on the new MIDI track, and then you can go ahead and just play it with your keyboard. So this synth pad sample, although it's quite a long sample, it's not quite long enough for what I need. So I'm going to do a little technique, and I'm going to show you this little technique of how you can make a sample like this go on for basically as long as you want. All you have to do is click this loop button, and then you can decide how much of the sample that you want to loop. So you can turn down this length a bit and turn down this loop a bit, and that'll make it just loop this bit that's sort of highlighted in blue. Now let's play it. Now it might be a bit obvious that it's looping a section of it, so what you can do is use this fade, turn that up a bit, and that creates these crossfades which should hopefully make it a bit more subtle. Now it just sounds like the pad is going on forever. Another thing you can do is add some reverb and delay, and that's going to cover up those seams and make it a bit more seamless, you know? So let's put the hybrid reverb there, and I'll just put that onto a hall, and I like to use this one called Long Synth Hall. I'll put that on about 30%. I'm also going to get the delay. Put that there. Now let's go back into synth one shots and have a listen what else we've got in here. So again, I'm going to press Shift, Command and T to create a MIDI track, and then I'll just double click this sample. And I want to play it at a lower pitch. Just going to press record and then put in these two notes. Alright, and then if it loops around like that and you start to get a new clip, all you press is Command and Z to undo it, and then you've just got your main clip that you just recorded. And again, I'm just going to make sure it's all tidy with the start and end points of each note. Let's go back into the synth one-shots and see what else we've got in here. That one's really nice. So it's almost time for me to do the arrangement, but before I do, I want to show you this sample that I found online. And it's a MC from the UK called Wiley. If you've never heard of Wiley, he basically was the inventor of grime, that genre of music called grime. So have a listen to this.
Listen, if you ain't got decks, if you ain't got turntables, you better go and buy some, right?
So I'm going to be throwing that into this tune. Before I do the arrangement, I just want to show you one more technique of what you can do with sample packs, and it involves the drum rack. So this is what the drum rack looks like, and it's basically got these 16 pads, which are kind of like an MPC. If you've ever seen the Akai MPC, it's a classic sort of sampler where you can put different drum sounds on each pad. Let's go into the Calpyso sample pack and just click on cymbals. And we're going to see we've got some crashes and we've got some rides. So let me have a listen to some of these. So I'm just going to put in 14 and 16. You can create a MIDI clip by highlighting a section and pressing Shift, Command and M. And you're going to see that inside your MIDI clip, you only have the things that you've put into the drum rack, right? So I've put in 2 rides, and you can see we've just got those 2 rides there. Now what you can do is put the grid onto something more appropriate, like a quarter note. And then you can just put in notes like this. So in this video, I've showed you how you can slice up samples to MIDI tracks. I've showed you how to just put them in on audio tracks. I've showed you how to put them into the simpler to play them at all different pitches, and also how to put them in the drum rack so that you can play them just like any other drum machine in MIDI clips. So now I'm going to do the arrangement, and without further ado, here is the finished tune.
Listen, if you ain't got decks, if you ain't got turntables, you better go and buy some. Right? Right? I'm going back to vinyl. to vinyl. Right? Right? If you ain't got decks, you better go and buy some.
Thanks again to Ghost Syndicate for sponsoring the video, and if you want to grab the Calpyso sample pack, the link is in the description. There's also a link to my Patreon page, so if you learned something from this and you want to support the channel, you can join my Patreon. If you want to learn how to make liquid drum and bass, check out this video here, and if you want to learn how to make UK garage, check out that one. I'm DJ Graish, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.